Hi everyone, this is Stephanie Lotvin of Tellybean Knits, and today I'm going to show you how to work row 11 of Clue 2 of the Halloween Party Mystery Knit Along. If you have not yet completed row 10 of the Mystery Knit Along, then I suggest that you pause this video and come back once you have worked rows 1 through 10 of Clue 2, because I will be showing the cowl in progress. So there are some spoilers in this video, so wait to watch this video until you have completed row 10. All right, last chance. Let me show you what I've got. So I have my cowl here. I'm working on a DK weight version so that you can see this a little more clearly in my demonstrations. I've completed Clue 1, Bobbing for Apples, and I have gotten a really good start on Clue 2. I'm ready to add my little wigs to the costume box for Clue 2. I'm just going to flip this over so you can see the wrong side because it is looking, I think, really cool, both on the right side and the wrong side. And I'm excited to show you what we're going to be doing on row 11. We are going to be working two new increases on row 11. We're going to be working a knit and dip stitch, and then the mirror image, the dip and knit stitch. Just make sure when you are reading your charts or your written instructions that you're reading them carefully so you know when to work the knit and dip and when to work the dip and knit. I also want to point out that we are going to be utilizing some handy little stitches that we worked in row 5. There are some slip stitches along our border edge of this color 3 garter border that we have here, and those slip stitches, we are going to utilize those stitches in row 11. So just make note of where those are. You should have a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 of those slip stitches, and the ones along the edge might be a little harder to see, but just give that a gentle pull with your finger and you can see those slip stitches start to appear. They're very close to the yarn over holes that are along our rolled edge. You're going to need color 3 for this tutorial, and I am using a really beautiful deep blue that I'm excited about. And you can also see that I have gone ahead and cut my color 4 tail. That's because I am done using color 4 for the remainder of Clue 2. Let's go ahead and get started on row 11 by scooting our stitches to the end of our needle. I'm going to begin with the right side of my work facing me, and I'm going to start row 11 by slipping that first stitch purlwise. You can see that my yarn is currently in front, which is where it should be. So I'm going to slip that first stitch purlwise with yarn in front and then bring that tail between my needles to the back of my work. I'm going to change to color 3 and knit 2 stitches. Now I'm going to slip the stitch marker and work a yarn over. Now I'm going to work my first new increase. This is the knit and dip stitch. So for this increase, if you're looking at the chart, you'll see that it's represented in a single square. This is to keep the chart nice and neat. But the knit and dip is actually going to be an increase that increases 1 stitch. So you'll knit 1 and you'll dip 1 to create the increase. Let me show you how that works. We're going to work 7 total knit and dip stitches to create our first little wig. So the first step of the knit and dip is to knit 1. And then we're going to dip into the first slip stitch that we have near, from row 5 near that garter edge. We're going to insert the right hand needle into the center of that slip stitch from front to back, and then wrap your yarn knitwise. Bring your yarn through the center of that slip stitch and create a long loop. Now in the previous clue, we were keeping the tension on those stitches nice and tight, but on this clue, when we work the knit and dip, we want that dip stitch to remain loose. We don't want any puckering on that, so don't pull tight on these stitches. Keep them nice and loose. And if you find that you are getting too much tension, that you're worried about puckering, give your right hand needle a little pull, and that will help to loosen out that stitch so you can keep that nice and loose. So we've just worked our first knit and dip stitch. We're going to work the next 6 knit and dip stitches into that same hole. It'll be much easier to find that hole that we created inside of that slip stitch from row 5 now that we've worked the first knit and dip. So we're going to work an additional 6 knit and dip stitches into that same slip stitch from row 5. So we've worked 1 knit and dip, and now we're going to work 2. So knit 1, dip 1, that's 2, knit 1, dip 1, that's 3, knit 1, dip 1, that's 4, knit 1, dip 1, that's 5, knit 1, dip 1, that's 6, knit 1, dip 1, that's 7. Now this eats up quite a lot of yarn, as you can probably tell, so it's good to pull out some loose yarn when you're working those 7 knit and dips, and I just want to show you what that looks like once I've finished. Look at that. So pretty. And you can verify. It's good to always check after you work your knit and dip stitches. I like to check the number of loops whenever I'm working the knit and dip. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes, I have worked 7 knit and dips. It opens up this slip stitch to create a kind of eyelet here, which is so pretty. And now we're ready to continue with the row. We're going to knit 1 stitch, and then we're going to do another 7 knit and dip stitches. When we work the next 7 knit and dip stitches to create this little wig, we're going to be using the next slip stitch. So we used a slip stitch close to our border here for our first little wig, and now we're going to work our next 7 knit and dip stitches using the next slip stitch on our needles from row 5. I'm going to knit 1, insert my right hand needle from front to back into that slip stitch from row 5, wrap my loop as if to knit, and then pull that loop nice and loose. That's 1, knit 1, dip 1, that's 2, knit 1, dip 1, that's 3, knit 1, dip 1, that's 4, knit 1, dip 1, that's 5, knit 1, dip 1, that's 6, knit 1, dip 1, that's 7. I'm just going to verify. Good. So now I've worked 2 little wigs. You can see here that I have 2 stitches between those little wigs, and that's because there was 1 knit stitch that was worked between my knit and dip stitches, and then the first knit from my first knit and dip seems to separate from the wig, and that is okay. That is what that is supposed to look like. When we work row 12, we're going to cinch some of those together. So if you're worried about gapping, don't be worried. Just enjoy how pretty those little wigs are looking. And you can probably see that there is some amount of, with working so many knit and dips, there is some amount of scrunching that's happening from our stockinette from color 4. That's okay. Don't worry. We're going that some of that's going to open up as we work the next row, and if there's some scrunching, that's okay. We just want to try to keep those loops comfortably loose so we can enjoy the texture that we're getting from our knit and dip. And I'm just going to continue down the row. I'm going to work quietly until I get to my center stitch. I'll knit 1, and then I'll knit and dip 7 times. knit one, and then knit and dip 7 times. Knit one, and then knit and dip 7 times. This is my final knit and dip. You can see that I am approaching my central stitch here. I still have 2, 4, 6, 7 stitches on my needles, which is exactly what I need to work my final 7 knit and dip stitches. All right, I've reached my central stitch and I've completed my final knit and dip, 7 knit and dip stitches to make my final little wig on the first half of my cowl. It's looking super cute. You can see it looks as if there are 2 stitches between each little wig, and now I am at the stitch marker. I need to work a make one right, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Slip, then I will slip my stitch marker, knit that central stitch, slip the next stitch marker, and then I'm going to make one left. And now I'm ready to work my first dip and knit stitches. I'm going to be utilizing those slip stitches as I did on the first half of my cowl. And this is just a mirror image of the increase that we worked on the first half. So on the first half, we were knit and dipping, and on the second half, we're dipping and knitting. So let me show you what that looks like. We're going to work 7 dip and knit stitches, and it's always useful to make sure you can identify where you're going to be inserting your needle. So rather than knitting first, we're going to dip first for the dip and knit. We're going to insert the right hand needle into the center of that slip stitch from row 5 in color 3. From front to back, wrap your yarn as if to knit and draw a long loop through to the front of your work. Once again, keep that dip stitch nice and loose. And now we're going to knit one. So that's how you work the dip and knit. You dip first, then you knit one. So I've worked 1 dip and knit. I need to work 6 more dip and knit stitches. So I will dip into the same slip stitch hole that I worked in for the first dip and knit. So dip 1, knit 1, dip 1, knit 1, dip 1, knit 1, dip 1, knit 1, dip 1, knit 1. I'm just going to verify that I have the right number. Looks like I need 1 more. Dip 1, knit 1. and I have worked 7 dip and knit stitches, and then I'm going to knit 1 stitch. Now I'm ready for another 7 dip and knit stitches. I'll be using the next slip stitch, that color 3 slip stitch from row 5 for working those dip and knits. So dip 1, knit 1, 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 dip 1, knit 1. Let me verify my number. Need 1 more. Dip 1, knit 1. All right, just like we had seen on the first side of our knitting, there are 2 stitches between those little wigs. You'll see if you look, it looks as if there are 3 stitches between the ones that are flanking that center stitch. We have our central spine and then 1 stitch here. This was our make 1 right and this is our make 1 left. Then a little wig and then a gap of what looks like 2 stitches between our 2 wigs, just like we had on the first side of our work. So we're just going to continue now. We're going to knit 1 and then we'll work our 7 more dip and knit stitches into the next slip stitch from row 5. So we'll dip 1, knit 1, and now we'll knit 1 and work another 7 dip and knit stitches. Dip 1, knit 1, and now we'll just knit 1 and we're ready for our final 7 dip and knit stitches. You'll just need to find that final slip stitch that you'll be using for those 7 dip and knit stitches. It is right next to the yarn overs along that garter rolled edge, and we're just going to give that a gentle tug so you can open that up if you have any trouble finding it and see where that slip stitch is. So we're going to work 7 dip and knit stitches. So we'll dip into the center of that final slip stitch, work a dip stitch, and then knit 1, dip into the same slip stitch, 2, We've finished our final 7 dip and knit stitches, and now we're ready for a yarn over. We'll slip that stitch marker, knit 2, and then knit 2 together to finish row 11. Let me just show you what we have when we complete row 11. We have increased 73 stitches in row 11 for a total of 159 stitches. We have 10 little wigs that we worked in row 11, and I think it's looking really beautiful. This has eaten up quite a lot of yarn, but I think it was absolutely worth it, and I think it turned out so well. I hope you enjoyed making these little wigs, and you can join me for the row 12 tutorial so that you can see how we move forward in our cowl. Thank you so much for watching.